Don't blink. Don't even blink. Blink and you'll miss it. These last weeks will be fast, faster than you can believe. Don't turn your back. Don't look away. And don't blink. Because the GuiTARDIS will be finished in this episode and you don't want to miss that. So I've got a couple of components to construct still before I can finish and assemble the guitar. And one of those is the back plate for the control cavity. Now I've got a bit of this recycled blackwood still. It's the same material that the body and the neck are made from. So I just need to cut this to size. Now I did start off on the table saw by cutting from each side, but the fence on my table saw is quite low and I got a bit scared when I started going through. It was getting a bit wobbly. So I've decided to finish cutting it by hand, but at least I've got some good guide marks for where to cut. Okay, so I'm up to staining the guitar body now. I'm going to use this black diluted stain just to put on the surface, which I'll then sand back, and hopefully when I put the blue on later, the black will give a good contrast with the grain patterns. Now the areas that I've taped off is more just so I don't spill it or drip it onto areas that I don't want stained, rather than having a clean line along the edge. Since it'll be sanded off, I'll just sort of get close to the line. I'm not planning on putting it on too thick, so hopefully we don't get any bleed through into other parts of the guitar body. And as you can see, I've put the undiluted stain in the pickup cavities just so it has a black background, and also in the infinity mirror. There will be the mirror on the base, but certainly around the sides is where the lights will be. So welcome to my garage. I've got a small space in here where I do final finishing and assembly, and it's just a much cleaner space to do those type of jobs. So it's time for staining, which is a pretty exciting part of the build. Now in a previous episode where I tested the two stains, it was definitely the royal blue which was the favourite, and is the one that I'm going to use for the GuiTARDIS. So let's see how it looks. So the first coat's on and drying. It's a little bit patchy in places, so I'll certainly need to go back and clean that up a bit, and I'll probably put a second coat all over. I've got a couple of different lights on it so I can see it under different conditions, but I'll take it outside as well and look at it under the daylight just to make sure that it is exactly how I want it. So I've just put a second coat on outside, so let's wait and see what it looks like when it dries. It's had a couple of days to dry now and I've touched up a few little places. I think the only thing I need to do now is to take off the tape so I can see the contrast between the dye and the natural colour of the wood. Under these lights it does look a little bit purpley, but I've got a bit of a comparison here for the colour that I'm going for. But certainly under daylight it does look a lot bluer. But yeah, really the contrast between some sort of purple tones and some blue tones should look pretty good. The colours are obviously going to become more vibrant when I oil the guitar and get a real shine to it. So let's take the tape off, see what it looks like under these lights, and then tomorrow morning I'll take it outside in the daylight and see what it looks like there as well. I'm really happy with how that's turned out. Nice clean lines, nice colour, good contrast in the grain, good contrast in the natural wood tone, and I can't wait to get some oil on this and make it really shine. I've just put a really light coat of oil on to start with. I just didn't want the stain to be picked up and to rub into the natural wood. And as you can see here, by dabbing it on really gently, it's only picked up a little bit of the blue compared to that one. So now that I've got that first coat on, I can put it on a bit thicker as I build up the different layers. I've got 4 coats of oil on now and it's turning out exactly how I imagined it. You can really see the different shades of blue and black that are coming through, with also being able to see the grain pattern as well. So I'm aiming to get about 10 or 12 coats of oil on altogether, or really as many as I can get done by next weekend. Because next weekend I have to start assembling the GuiTARDIS to get it ready in time. Now people assume that time is a strict progression of cause and effect, but actually from a non-linear, non-subjective viewpoint, it's more a big ball of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff. So through the science of time travel and the magic of film editing, let's jump ahead to when all the coats of oil are done. So I ended up with about 10 or 11 coats of oil, so that's where I'm going to leave it now. There's a few little marks and scratches, but when I sort of buff and polish it, that should take care of those. It's just in the oil layer rather than in the actual timber itself. And there's the back of the body and coming into the neck as well. I'm really happy with how it's all turned out. So my plan is to connect and pre-solder as many of the electronic components as I can. And fortunately, when my future self travelled back from the future to give me the plans for the GuiTARDIS, there is a very detailed, if not over complicated, circuit diagram of how I need to connect it. So lucky for me, I can use that and hopefully solder up as much of this as I can before I put it into the guitar. And I think I'll wait till the final reveal to explain and go through all of the electronic components that will be on the GuiTARDIS. What a mess. This will probably look pretty quick on time lapse, but it has taken me all afternoon to get to this stage. It's been complicated a little bit by this Fender humbucker pickup. It has a very short lead and wires on it at the moment, so I've had to solder on some extension leads for the circuitry. I'll also have my P90 pickup in as well. As you can see, it is a pretty tight fit for everything, but it's looking pretty good so far. I also have to fit in the LED lights around the perimeter of this area. Let's hope it all fits. So I'm pretty close to assembling the guitar now, so I really just need to gather all the components together, and then I can do that. Now, one good thing about having a guitar that's bigger on the inside is that I've been able to store all the components inside the guitar where there's a lot more room. So let me get them all out, and then we can move on from there. All right, I think that's everything. There might be a few other components lying around the house, but I'll be able to find those when I need them. So there's nothing more to do now than to take it inside and put it all together. This is the exciting bit. So before I go any further, I want to test the electronics to make sure they're all working. So let's check that out now. So neck and bridge pickup working perfectly. So both pickups, neck, bridge. Got a coil split switch as well. I don't know if that's working. I might have to wait and see until it's wired up. I just might have to redo some of those wires. Sounds like they're both on, but I can check that later. Let's have a look at volume. Volume's good. And tone. Perfect. And the exciting bit, the delay pedal now, I don't want to waste the battery when it's basically always plugged in. So let's turn it on. Get the key in the right way around. So delay on. Whoa. That definitely works. Oh, this is going to be awesome. Okay, I think everything is ready to go for the lighting test, so let's turn some lights off and see what it looks like. All right, fret markers first, glowing nicely. Let's put the delay pedal on, just for a bit of an effect, an extra light. And here we go. You little ripper. Nice. I'm so thrilled about how this has turned out. Let's have a look at some other effects that we can do. Other colours. Let's have a close-up. That is amazing. That just keeps going forever. Oh, this is better than I ever imagined. This is awesome. Okay, I think we're going to have to leave this episode here. All the lighting works, the bigger on the inside circuit's working, the electronics work, the time travel circuit works. So I'm just over the moon about all those things coming together the way it has. I still have to do the final setup. I've got the strings to put on. I might change the volume in the tone knob still, the back plate to put on, a few little things like that, strap buttons as well. So you'll have to wait for the final compilation video to hear it in action, as well as see the full effect. Now, in my current timeline, there's 10 days to go until the end of the competition, and it would be awesome to be in the top 10. So if you'd like to see it in the top 10 as well, make sure you vote. Go to the Great Guitar Build-Off website, follow the links, and vote for the GuiTARDIS. Let's see if we can get it in the top 10. It would be awesome to hear what the judges think of it. So one last thing I need to do now is to travel back in time to episode 2, where I gave myself the plans for the GuiTARDIS. Without the plans, I wouldn't get to this stage. It's obviously working, so it's really important that I get these back now. So I'll set the coordinates and travel back to episode 2. And I'll see you guys next time in the final full build video. See you then.